In August of 2014, 10 students from the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay traveled to Quezon City in the Philippines on a global village trip with Habitat for Humanity. The 24-hour trip spanned 12 time zones and more than 8,000 air miles. When they finally arrived, they were joined by 15 university students from Japan. Together, the 25 students formed a multinational team and worked on a build project in a poverty housing community for 1 week. The students from both countries thought they were going to the Philippines to change the lives of the people in the community where they worked. They never suspected that it would be their lives that would be most changed by this experience. This is a story about how the paths of 25 young people from opposite sides of the globe intersected for one amazing and unforgettable week, and how everyone is forever different because of it. But it's also the story of how these students became connected with a warm and generous community in the Philippines, a community of people that shared their life stories, their beautiful children, their indomitable spirit, and their genuine gratitude.
As I think back on the trip to the Philippines, the thing I remember most is building relationships with everyone there in the community, the adults and the children.
The community where the students spent their week was called Bisticville 4. It is representative of the many poverty housing communities in the Manila metro area and in the Philippines in general. The houses in the community are made from whatever materials are available: brick and mortar, corrugated metal, wood, or even tarps. There's running water and electricity, but cooking and laundry are done outdoors. Dogs, cats, and chickens roam freely in the neighborhood. Vendors walk the streets selling food, goods, and services. Many people in the community go to off-site jobs, while others run small family businesses out of their homes. School-age children go to classes daily. Bisticville 4 is a vibrant community. The residents have families and livelihoods, and they have access to schools, goods, and services. What they lack is a decent place to live. A multi-year collaborative project between the local city government, the Community Neighborhood Association, and Habitat for Humanity will replace the existing shelters in Bisticville 4 with modern, safe, durable, and affordable apartment-style housing. When the project is completed, a dozen new buildings will house approximately 250 families.
What I remember most about my trip is digging holes, and how the holes that we dug would become the foundations for someone's home where they would create their lives and grow up and come back from school every day and just be with their family in a place where they can have a roof over their head.
Each morning of the work week, the students arrived at the community in vans and were met by children from the neighborhood. The children led them through a maze of narrow, winding walkways to the build site. All along the route in and out of the neighborhood each day, the students were greeted warmly and cheerfully by the community residents. The students arrived at this project just as the second building was being started. Their week's work consisted of digging holes for the foundation, making frames for the foundation footings, building support columns out of metal bars, mixing concrete, and then moving the concrete from one end of the worksite to the other so that it could be poured into the holes to form the footings and secure the columns. The work was hard and manual. The tools the students used consisted of sharpened metal bars and hand shovels to chip rock and clear the foundation holes, hacksaws to cut the metal bar, a homemade jig to bend the bar, homemade hook tools to wire the frames together, and buckets to haul water and concrete. August being the rainy season in the Philippines, most days there were downpours that required them to bail all the water out of their foundation holes before they could continue digging. The students were drenched every day, either from rain or sweat, or both, but they persisted. And over the course of the week, the framework of a building rose from the ground.
On Community Day, we all had kind of a host family who took us in, and the kids in my host family made me this bracelet. Seems like a small little gesture, but it meant the world to me because, they love these things. They make them for themselves and their friends, so that was awesome. And a different girl that I became close with, her name is Joyce, she made me this.
Each day at the worksite, the students were in the constant presence of the children of the community. The children generally entertained themselves by making creative use of whatever they could find on any given day. Chalk, string, bottle caps, tin cans, puddles, their flip-flops, and each other. But when the student took breaks from their labor, the children coaxed them into games of tag or hand clapping, drew pictures with them on scraps of paper, or posed for cell phone selfies with them. By the end of the week, the children knew all the university students by name, and the students themselves had favorite little friends who would seek them out to draw, play, or dance. The joy that the children brought to each day of the trip was one of the most enduring memories of the experience for the students.
There was this one little girl that I got down on the first day and gave her a piggyback ride, and oh my gosh, I should not have done that, because the next week after that she wanted piggyback rides, and she taught me a patty cake game, and the only word she knew was peace in English, and I thought that that was so adorable, and she was so cute.
On the last day of the trip, the students were honored by the Bisticville 4 community with a program thanking them for their service. A meal was shared, and there were songs, prayers, speeches, and presentations. The performances of song and dance by the children of the community were heartwarming. It was truly a joyous day. After numerous last photos and tearful last hugs, the children accompanied the students through the community one last time to the vans that would return them to their hotel.
At the end of the trip, they all walked us out hand in hand, and then when our bus was driving away, they were running after it, and I think that really struck me.
So what was accomplished? By the end of the week, 10 foundation holes were dug, 10 footings and columns were fashioned out of metal bar, and 7 of the 10 columns were raised and secured to the foundation footings with concrete. There was great satisfaction for the students to know that the building that will someday stand here will literally be supported by the work of this team. But success was not only measured in the progress on the building. 25 students from opposite sides of the world formed deep friendships in their week together. They discovered how much people from all parts of the world have in common, and everyone deepened in their understanding of poverty housing in the Philippines, housing conditions that, sadly, are typical in many parts of the world. But in the end, it won't be the haunting visions of poverty that will shape the memories of this incredible week. Rather, the lasting memories will be of the experiences that were shared and the friendships that were forged, all within the embrace of a joyful, caring, compassionate, and grateful community. It was never really about digging holes.